Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Prowess's Go Live that we do every single Wednesday. Hello, hello, hello. Let me get my act together. Sorry guys, I am trying to I'm not able to stream on Facebook. Leah, do you mind just posting the Zoom link in the OBM group?
Okay.
Fantastic. Well, hello, everyone. I'm so glad that you are here today. I am Ashley Connell, CEO and founder of Prowess Project. And as always, really appreciate your time. To kick things off today, as always, we ask, when and what are you doing when you feel most productive? What are you doing when, and just type them into the chat. That would be really helpful. And then I'll read them aloud. What are you doing? What time of day? What activity? What is that feeling like when you are productive? Don't be shy. So the reason why I'm asking this is because this morning, it was 5 a.m. and I could not sleep. And I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll just get up and go be, and I'll just start working. And it felt so good from 5:30 to 6:30 just to bang out a ton of work. And I knew at the afternoon, once I got tired, I was going to be able to nap. So that felt so good. Does anyone have anything else like that? Ooh, Lily, planning schedules, most productive in the mornings, pre-noon, and in the evenings. Mornings, man, I am an early bird too. All about those mornings. Well, again, thank you so much for being here. As a quick refresher, what is Prowess Project? What do we do? Prowess Projects helps mainly caregivers who are returning to the workforce or pivoting in their career. We vet them and certify them to be online business managers. From there, we use our algorithm to match them up with consultants and coaches who need their help. Coaches and consultants are out there all day, every day, and they're trying to make it to the next mark, trying to hit the next milestone, help really make an impact, and they need integrators like all of you to come in and help them make their dreams come true. So we connect those. So as always, we want to bring as many of our online business managers. We wanted to introduce you to as many coaches, consultants, these creator visionary type people as possible, so that you can really understand what they're looking for, what they do, and all of these consultants out there, all of these coaches out there, they have such an impact to make. And so that's why I am absolutely thrilled to bring on today Miss Marisa Lonic, who is the CEO of Mama Work It. The second I started chatting with her, and just to give y'all a little bit of background, at Prowess Project, we are so data driven. And I wanted to make sure that before we jump in full throttle on the OBM, helping people become online business managers, that we knew that consultants and coaches desperately needed this. So one of my info interviews, which I highly recommend anyone do, it was with Marisa. And it was just so fun to chat with her about being a mother, ×4, by the way. I don't know how she does it. And her impact that she's bringing to mother entrepreneurs everywhere, that you own your time. And I'm going to paraphrase, but you own your time. You can manage both. It takes work, but you can. And that is what is so exciting. So again, Marisa is a keynote speaker, a life and business coach, a 3-times author, a top-rated podcast host, and also the founder of Mama Work It. She spent 15 years in corporate, and she was like, this is for the birds. My words, not hers. And she shifted gears to write books, courses, and coaching programs to help busy moms, and dare I say, just caregivers in general, juggle mom life, work life, wife life, fill in the blank life. So welcome to Prowess's live show, Marisa. We are so pumped to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, and thank you for that warm and beautiful welcome.
Oh, Good, good, good. And as always, everyone, if you have any questions whatsoever throughout, please put them into chat and we will read them. Fantastic. So I'm going to jump right in so we keep this to as close as 30 minutes as possible. So Marisa, give us the quick and dirty on how you got to where you are today. Bit of background.
Okay, so 2013, I became a mom. I became a mom to twins. They showed up early to the party. They were preemie. And, you know, as any new mom, you never feel fully ready. Well, I definitely didn't feel fully ready. And it was like baptism by fire. And I felt like the hot mess express, like trying to get into a routine, all the things. 4 months later, went back to work in my corporate role, and from the outside looking in, I think I looked like I had it together, but internally, I did not feel this way. I was overwhelmed. I would go through this vicious cycle of like work, 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 feel resentful, feel, tired, exhausted, angry, like all the things, put a band-aid of self-care on it, and then just like repeat it all over again. And I was like, okay, something's up here. Like this is not what I envisioned motherhood and working motherhood to be like. And I'm an ambitious woman, which I know many of us are here. And I was offered a job promotion. My twins were 2 at the time. And it meant moving cross country. It meant taking on a much bigger role, longer commute, all the things. And I was terrified. I was terrified because I felt like I already feel like I don't have time now. I'm going to now put all this immense pressure on myself, like move cross country without a support system, all these things, and I'm going to make this work. How? How is this going to be possible? Well, I turned down the opportunity and quickly regretted it. Like spent the whole weekend in complete regret, begged for it to be reinstated. It was, thankfully. And we did. We ended up doing it. We moved. And what I realized was in this shift, as with any transition in life, whether you're adding to your family, changing careers, shifting into your own entrepreneurial space, whatever it is, managing your time, it didn't get harder. It just got different. And I was able to really maximize efficiency, like throw in new tips, tricks, ideas, but also shift my mindset. And I was able to do that because I was in a place where I was really fulfilled in what I was doing day in and day out. And so I was showing up as the best version of myself in motherhood, best version of myself at work, doing all these things. And I mean, people said I made it look easy. Was every day easy? No, it wasn't. But it was a really great flow. And so started blogging for the working mom, wrote my first book, and it really just escalated from there as to where Mama Work It was born.
That is insane. Okay, you said so many things that I would love to pick apart. Like we are going to have to do a part 2 because we could just have a whole conversation in what you just said, especially about the part of I made it look easy. Everyone else thought I had my shit together. And the part that you said that I was starting to get resentful. And I think as caregivers or mothers, we can very much so relate to exactly what you're saying. And what I am taking away from that first part is how you felt so low and then actually made that shift. And so tell us, you started blogging for the working mom. Like, how did that turn into who you are today with all those accolades that I listed off from the very beginning?
Yeah. So, I at first when I started blogging and stuff, it was just like working motherhood, right? Like it was like just this blog of like all the things I was going through, like the funny and like not so funny stories of, what life looks like day in and day out. And then I'd always get the question, Ashley, how do you have time? How do you have time? And to me, it didn't feel super hard to be like doing all these multi-passionate things I was doing, but let's not get it twisted. Again, like some days really were freaking hard, right? But I realized that there were a lot of women, a lot of moms who had these big ideas, these dreams, these aspirations, and they were letting the idea that they didn't have time in this season, like block them from pursuing them, almost like I did with that opportunity.
Yeah, with that.
Yeah. Or there were moms who were just constantly operating in survival mode. And they wanted
Mm.
to be able to come up for air more often than not. And they couldn't figure out how to make that happen because the juggle is real and no one really teaches this to you. Like all the memes out there are basically saying like, of course, this is how you feel. You're a mom, you're tired. You're supposed to be tired all the time. Or you're a working mom. Of course, you're supposed to feel working mom guilt nonstop. Or you live in yoga pants that are 10 years old and stained and you haven't washed your hair since Tuesday. Yes, this is motherhood. Like this is what all the social media stuff is made to make you feel like. And I was like, no, no, like, yes, these are legit struggles, but they don't need to be considered the norm where we just accept it and we go about life at mediocrity. Like it felt crazy to me. And I don't know about you, but like to me, the ultimate definition of a living hell is just like living this super basic life where I just accept the fact that this is what it is. So I saw the common denominator was like the excuse having to do around time or lack thereof. And I was like, I'm going to show you, I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to teach you that you do have time. You can make this happen. You're not just a basic bee and like, you're not on the other side of that meme. And like, you can totally do this. Like it is so possible.
Oh man, I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, I mean, so how many of us, like raise your hand in the chat if you have said this week, it is Wednesday. If you've already said this week, I do not have time. I have already said that this week. I do not have time. I was like, nope, 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 nope. So it's so like fascinating that would it be fair to say you just removed that from your vocabulary?
I did. And trust me when I say I used to say it ad nauseum, like all day, every day, right? It was everything I thought, felt. And it's so funny because my newsletter, I send a weekly newsletter, and this week my newsletter, the subject line was like all about saying this phrase because it's the most common thing I hear with clients, with women I speak to, just with mom friends, anybody I talk to is like, people say this all the time. And what happens is when you say this, I don't have time, you believe it, you feel it, and your action follows. And so,
Oh, say more about that. What do you mean the
yeah,
action follows?
it becomes your truth. So your thoughts affect your feelings,
Sure.
which affect your actions, which affect your results, right? So when you think to yourself, I don't have time, you believe that, that becomes your truth. You say the words out loud. And when you get offered opportunities or when you get offered fun things to do that are maybe outside your normal routine, your immediate reaction, your result is, I don't have time. And you say no, and you turn it down, or you don't go after it, or you don't do it, or you don't make time for yourself, or whatever it is. And now you're on this, like, this is your norm. This is like your bar is set really low. So
Mm-hmm.
shifting that mindset is so crucial. And a really simple way to do that is to start replacing that phrase, I don't have time, with the phrase, it's not a priority to me. Something magical happens when you make this really simple verbiage shift, you guys. So I'm going to exemplify it if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, keep going.
Okay. So what happens is, let's say you think to yourself, I don't know, I'll throw in exercise as the example
Yeah.
because
Oh, that's a
I
good one.
feel like, yeah, this one comes up a lot. So you say to yourself, I don't have time to work out. I don't have time to exercise, right? And you believe it and you don't go to the gym or you don't run or you don't walk or you don't do anything, right? And then you feel bad about it. You feel kind of guilty. Now, I want you to replace that with working out isn't a priority to me. And what happens is you go one or two ways here, right?
Yeah.
This way or this way, but either way is a win. Either way is a win. So on one hand, you say working out isn't a priority to me. And you're like, well, you know what? Damn, it's not. And you're like, all of a sudden a weight is lifted off your shoulders. You feel less guilty. You stop like shooting all over yourself and you just like clear up all this mental load space that you're carrying around and you kind of move on with life and like all is well, right? So even though you didn't get a workout in, you stopped feeling guilty about something that's really not that important to you and you move on. Now, on the other hand, if you say it out loud and you're like, ooh, well, that doesn't feel good. That feels like I'm living a lie. Like working out isn't a priority to me. Of course, it's a priority to me. Well, you know what? You'll be surprised. You will find a way to fit that into your life. Like you will creatively think of a solution because when something is a priority to you, you make it happen.
Oh, it is so true. It really is so true. So as you're saying all of this, I am picturing myself with working out, by the way, on like going that originally I was going to say angel devil, but it's not. It's angel angel, just depending on, which way you were going to go on the, hey, I don't have the time to work out. One trap I fall into quite a bit, and I'm curious what your thought is on this, is I'm like, okay, I'll work out. Then I will pack my day so full and be so focused that I'm in like a bad mood, because I know that if something takes 1 minute longer than it technically should, I am going to domino effect all of the things in my schedule, and I'm not going to get to this, or I'm going to piss something off, or I'm going to be racing, blah, blah, blah. So do you have any like, what comes up for you when I say that type of thing? Is this just a Ashley thing? Do you hear this a lot? I'm curious.
No, it's not just an Ashley thing, for sure. I would say, I mean, hey, unless you and I were sitting down and looking at your schedule in depth and like really going through it, I could give you like some real specific things. But I would
Sure.
say from what you've said, it sounds like you're putting unrealistic expectations on yourself.
Mm,
And I think as high achieving women, we do
yeah.
that. We do
Yeah.
that. Like I love to joke about this, but it's like so true. When I left my corporate role, which was super demanding, like, juggling corporate leadership position is no joke. But when I left that and I went into business for myself full time, I inherited like the world's worst boss, right? Because I put such
You?
a pressure, me, I put such immense pressure on myself. I had to like check myself, right? So I think we do that to ourselves. We would never do that to others,
No.
but we do it to ourselves. And we need to like, get to a place where it's realistic. So I like to, when I'm working with clients, I like to say, I want you to hold yourself accountable for 3 small goals per day. Start
Hmm.
there. 3 small goals. You absolutely will get those done. So if like focus is challenging for you, 3 is achievable. If you're someone who puts too much on yourself, 3 is like a good way to hone it down, bring it back down to a realistic expectation. And if if you end up doing more, great, overachiever, good for you. But like you're allowed to be done after the 3
Yeah.
and done.
Oh, wow. That is really, really good. I love that. And so something that is again coming up for me, we're talking about like how it's feeling for us, right? Like how we didn't have time, and we were so busy, or we weren't prioritizing what we needed. But what we haven't quite talked about yet is how it affects the people in our family or the people around us. So I'm
Mhm.
curious, like what I'm going to call them success stories, but like what shifts have you seen people make? And I'm assuming they may even feel more connected to the people around them afterward. I don't know.
Well, absolutely. And I mean, I think the way I teach time management, the way I coach on this subject, and sometimes I almost cringe when I like introduce myself as a time management and productivity like expert or coach or whatever, because I think people assume like rigid schedules and like super
Mm,
hyper organized and all the things. And sure, I do use tools, I do use systems, I do recommend them to people. I think that is a core component in managing your
right.
time. But to me, there's a huge wellness element there,
Oh,
because
huh.
when you feel your best, when you feel good, you do good, right? Like you are more productive, you're more motivated,
Hmm.
you're more energetic, you show up as a better version of yourself to everyone around you.
Hmm.
And especially if you're a caregiver, a mother, doing things outside of just like your work, which we all have other roles outside of work. You want to be the best version of yourself there too, right? Like you want to be the best mom or the best spouse or partner or the best daughter or friend or, fill in the blank. And you do that when you feel your best. And so
Yeah.
there's a huge element there of like really feeling aligned, feeling worthy, feeling like, you know, you're doing things that light you up, you're doing things you're really here and meant to do, and you're motivated and excited to do them. It's just like a great ripple effect in all the other areas of your life.
Wow. That's so true. I really love that, Marissa. I really do. We're going to shift gears a little bit here. So everyone who is on the call, we are all budding OBMs, right? Online business managers. And we are on our journey to work with coaches and consultants like yourself. And so one key thing that Prowess Project brings on a regular basis and more now is getting into the head of people like you, Marissa, the visionaries out there, so that OBMs can better understand and better serve. So what would you say, Marissa, is your superpower when it comes to your professional world or life?
Okay, my superpower. Well, I mean, I'd say like my organizational skills are helpful, especially if you're multi-passionate and you typically have a few different projects going at once, or you do a few different things in your business. So like being able for me to stay disciplined yet in a flow where the work feels good is really, really key. But again, you might think I'm like hyper organized and really rigid with my schedule. And maybe to some people I am, but honestly, I don't think of myself in this way. Like, of course, I have systems, I have tools I use
Yeah.
to stay on track, but I also really, really value my mental health and wellness. And I build this into my workflow. So I like to say I'm a good mix of, accountability and flexibility, because I
Oh,
really
wow.
think when you are a business owner, especially, and let's add being a mom on top of that, I have 4 kids, as you mentioned, like you got to be a mix of these two things. Like you need to know how to toe the line, hold yourself accountable, get things done, because God knows there's always interruptions and plans that go off course. And then you also need to be able to go with the flow, because when your day turns into like a disaster, right, you have to be able to hold it together and not just have like a breakdown all the time, right? Your business needs
Yeah.
you, your family needs you got to stay in one piece. So I think the fact that I've been able to develop this like work smarter, not harder mentality, paired with what I like to call like the gold star of resiliency, is probably like the superpower that's helped me the most. And I just
Oh, I
want to
love
add to
this.
this. I want to add to this, like, let's not get it twisted here. This is a superpower anybody out there can develop and flex. Like, I
Oh,
am
wow.
no special snowflake. I am happy to teach you all I know. Like, do not feel intimidated or discouraged if you're watching, listening, and thinking, like, she has something I don't. I don't. I literally don't. I can help you obtain this. You are so capable. Like, I'm just proof you can do it too.
Wow. Wow. Super great. Well, with that, so and this may be a hard one for you to answer because you were just saying that your superpower is so many different things, but like big and small, what are aspects of your business, tasks, projects, strategies, like what are those different pieces that you wish that you could pass off to a number two, to your right hand woman? What would
Yeah,
some of those be?
totally, totally. I mean, I think if you would have asked me this question a year or two ago, I'd probably tell you podcast support, because running a podcast alongside a lot of other things in your business is like a time suck. Like, it's really intense. And that's why I take breaks even in between my podcast seasons, because
Yeah.
it's a lot. And when I first started my podcast, I was it. Like, I was the guest recruiter, the episode producer, the editor, the content creator, the show note writer, like, and the host, right? So it's one of the first parts of my business that I did actually get support in, because I knew it would give me back a ton of time. And let's get real, while I love doing my podcast, like sound engineering is just not my zone of genius. Like, can I do it? Yes. I think I'm pretty good at it, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Um, so that's one of the things I was most excited to get support in. And at this point in my business, what tasks would I want to pass off? I'd say probably more along the lines of lead generation. Like,
Mhm.
I love providing potential clients with what I call breakthrough calls, which are like discovery calls, and just getting to know them. I love it, but I don't necessarily want to be like looking for my people all the time. And I don't know if anyone on this call is familiar with human design. I've recently learned a lot about human design, but I'm a projector, which means that is like not my style in doing business. Like, for me, it's very draining. Like, I'm not meant to go find people to do business with me. It's really not where I shine. So I'm meant to wow you, but like only if you want to hear what I have to say, right? So
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I have to be invited to speak, so to speak. So if someone else who is not a projector is like more of this person and wants to be my lead gen gal, this would like really complement what I think I would probably need support in these days in my business. And we can both shine as our best selves.
Well, and what is really interesting to me is when I'm talking to different consultants, they're like, yes, I need, and correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, I need someone to help with a podcast. Okay, yes, it is a podcast, but what is what is it also serving as? Lead gen? It is serving as content. It is serving as your brand. Like, what we teach a lot about is the entire lead gen engine and funnel and what that whole nurturing process looks like. And so people say, hey, I need help with podcasts, but there's so much more that goes about it.
It's content in a nutshell, right? It's a portion of the content and it could be repurposed so many ways.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. So if you were to have this person, as you said, I mean, you have someone to take off the podcast. If you had someone to take off some of the lead generation from you specifically, like, what would that open up for you professionally or personally?
Well, I think obviously I could be more often in my zone of genius. Like, I don't want to say I don't love what I do every day. Of course I do. Like, I'm running my business, I'm doing multi-passionate stuff. I love it. But right now, like, as I'm sure you feel this too, Ashley, like, I get a lot of ideas, right? I get a lot of downloads and like I can't chase after them all. And like, not that I think if I had a right hand, I would chase after them all, but I think that I could do more, right? With those downloads,
Mm,
with those ideas. I think I could go and spend more time in that creative space and be like exploring those things a little bit more. Um, so I think I'd have
I
more
love that.
agility there. I think I'd have more agility. And I also think like having a right hand, left hand, front hand, backhand, like having this person, this team would really be a great sounding board, right?
Hmm.
Because they bring a different perspective, a different expertise, a different knowledge base, more experience perhaps in different areas of life and business. And then, that could be a great way to talk through things or discuss things. And then, indirectly, I would say like, I really like in being a coach and doing what I do, like, I just love watching people grow and like supporting them in this way. And it would give me such satisfaction if someone was like growing with me alongside in this
Yeah.
mission that I'm here to do.
Yeah. Oh, I love hearing this. And like I said, we're going to need to do a part two, because I did not realize we are already at 1:30 Central. So if anyone does have any questions, please put them in chat and we can, as my AirPod goes flying, can y'all still hear me? Okay. Um, so please put them in chat and we'll see if Marisa can answer some of them. But the last thing that I just wanted to wrap up and say is first, thank you, thank you, thank you. Is there anything that you would like to share with the group? Any last things, Marisa? Yes.
Oh my gosh, I have so many things I want to share, but I know we're out of time. Um, I mean, just really like if you have this idea or this vision of what you want to do and time is creeping in as like an excuse getting to you, like really just know this idea was made for you. Like it came to you for a reason. You're here for a reason. You're meant to do this. And that time, I don't have time mentality, that stuff, it's an excuse and you can totally, totally get past it and make it happen. Even if it's just one small step a day, you can absolutely do it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay. Where can all of our amazing budding OBMs find you?
Yes, so best place is the website, mamaworkit.com, and it's spelled MAMA. And then on social, we're at Let Mama Work It.
Fantastic. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Marisa. Like I said, this is a third time now. We will have you back if you will have us.
I would love to come back. Thank you.
Yes, thank you everyone who is watching. If you have any questions, feedback, kudos, please let us know. You can find us at hello@prowessproject.com. We have our 3-day workshop next week, all about the OBM opportunity, how to become an OBM like the person that Marisa would potentially need someday. How do you become that right-hand woman, that sounding board, that thought partner, really the person who is going to take all of her big ideas that she's downloading and bringing them to life. So we will see all of you. And Leah, if you have the link by chance, if you don't mind putting it in there, that would be great. Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.